everybody, it's Beth Flanagan here, and I've got a special guest with me today, Sam, and he's going to introduce himself in a minute. But I'm Beth Flanagan, as I've just said, and my company is BFF, Beth Flanagan Financial Limited. And I love these chats because I get to chat with my accounting BFFs, and today is going to be brilliant. So what we're going to talk about today is the 3 S's, which is the shiny software syndrome. But before we go on to that, as per usual, if you can put in the comments box below where you're watching from, as in, are you watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, or also you can put in where in the world you're watching from as well. Because Sam, we have people all over the world watching this show. Multinational here, you know, international. So Sam, tell me all about you. Where are you from? What's your name? Sound like Cilla Black, don't I?
I'm happy to go with the blind date theme. My name's Sam. I'm from Sheffield. So Bev, you know this already. And I'm a account executive in the partnerships team at Employment Hero.
Absolutely brilliant. How long have you been at Employment Hero?
Since the start of the year. So I started in March officially.
Right, brilliant. So you've been there a little while. And also, what I really love about Employment Hero is the fact that your brand is purple, and any company that's branded purple, in my opinion, is the best.
Yeah, well, why is that?
Just a little hunch there. Not sure why you think I like purple, but no, thank you so much. Employment Hero are actually sponsoring the show, so thank you so much. I'm so grateful, and we've got lots and lots to talk about. So also, if you've got any comments throughout the show, as per usual, put them in the chat box and we'll ask them throughout the live session, because we're live right now. If you don't get a chance to answer it live, we'll answer it afterwards, but we will try our best. So SSS, I want to take credit for this. I think I've made it up, because obviously we've just been talking about this, is the SOS, the shiny object syndrome. But I like to think of shiny software syndrome. It's a little bit of get your teeth into that. But what I mean by this is, as an accountant myself, and Sam obviously works in the accounting industry, I am definitely, hands up, I'm guilty of this. Like, you'll see, you'll have your tech stack, what you use on a day-to-day basis, and then all of a sudden, another shiny new software pops on the market and everyone's talking about it. It's like, I'm going to go and subscribe to that. So you do, and you look at it a little bit, you think that's good, and then you don't do anything with it. And the next thing is, there's another one. And then we buy that. And before you know it, we've got millions of pounds of subscriptions coming out of our bank account a month. Well, maybe not millions, but you know what I mean. But stuff that we're paying for and we're not using. So this is what we need to talk about today. As in, have you already got the most brilliant, bestest software that you're already using right now, but you're not using it to its full potential? Or flip it on its head, you've got a software and you are using maybe the cheapest version of stuff. And this is not about price, by the way, because you get what you pay for, as we all know. We all tell our clients this. But are you using software right now that you are using to its full potential and it's not good for you or your practice or your team or your clients? So that's what we want to talk about today. So Sam, what's your experience in this, in dealing with accountants? Because we're all the same, aren't we, right?
Well, I don't like to think so, but when it comes to SSS as we'll call it, I think what I hear a lot, and looking to speak to so many accountants every single day in my role, is really what we're talking about now, and kind of a buzzword I think is that tech stack element. Yeah. And what I find is the word stack being so key, in that it starts to layer and layer and layer and layer until eventually, as you said, you've kind of got 10, 15 sometimes elements of pieces of software in that tech stack that you're using, some of which I'm sure is fantastic and you're utilizing every day, some of which, is it needed? And I think it's really important to assess that, regularly, in terms of, am I getting the most out of this? And as you say, am I getting kind of bang for my buck in terms of the investment that I'm putting into that? Yeah.
And sometimes when I get my new clients, we will go through their P&L and we'll go through the subscriptions line. And we'll say, right, what are you actually using right now? What software can you not do without for internally for your practice, like for your CRMs and stuff, for your letter of engagement proposals, and stuff that you're actually using, like for your payroll, for your bookkeeping and stuff like that? What is it out of this that you're paying for, that you're subscribing to right now, that you cannot do without in your practice? And people will identify that, but then there'll also be other softwares, like we've said, that they're paying for, that they're not using, or they're using a tiny, tiny bit of. But the bit that they're paying for is already included in another software, but they don't have the time, because obviously time is critical for us and crucial. Anything, I always say that, like we say SSS, automate as well. Like, we need to automate as much as possible to save our time, to increase our productivity, to increase our efficiency, profitability, and all these big posh words that we always say all the time. But like you've just said, the tech stack. These are all the tech, they all build together, they all sync together, they've got all the APIs running, and it saves us time ultimately. But we also need to save money as well. So if you are watching this right now as an accountant or bookkeeper, or even a business owner, if you're watching, have a look at what you're paying for currently, because these 10, 20, 30 quids a month, they add up if you've got quite a few of them and if you're not using them. So have a look at that. And also, like we said, if you're using software right now that's, there's something better out there, switch and then use that one to its absolute maximum full potential. So you are getting the best for your money, and your clients absolutely love you, and your team as well. So one thing that we want to talk about as well today is HR. So as stereotypical accountants and bookkeepers, we don't typically offer HR services. I mean, I'm right in saying that, aren't I? I mean, I didn't in my practice, which I wish I did, but is this what you see?
Yeah, 100%. I think with the HR piece, I think one, it can be a bit of a scary term, I think, probably for accountants. And we tend to find that, your HR and payroll, especially, they do align in so many ways. And I think accountants would like to offer it if it didn't come down to the having to almost learn a new skill. And, accountants don't have time. They work so hard, from start of month all the way through to end of month. And it's very difficult to then learn and train up a new skill. And HR can be advisory as well. So there's a lot can go wrong, I think, when it comes to the HR side. And I think something that we're trying to then look at from employment heroes perspective is how can we ensure that accountants and businesses generally can offer that as a service or as an arm of their business without then having to kind of jump through all of the hoops of what they would normally have to do from a HR piece.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there as well with the advisory, because, we hear it all the time, every day on social media. Accountants, bookkeepers must offer advisory. But we could do a separate session on advisory itself, but a lot of accountants and bookkeepers still don't know what advisory actually is. And a good friend of mine, John Thompson, who runs Complete Advisory Solutions Cast, he says, and he's the absolute god of advisory. Hopefully he's listening, but he says that advisory is anything and everything that can make your clients' lives better. And that's their personal lives as well as the business life. Because if the business is running well, the client's going to be happy. If the client's happy, the business is going to be happy. So the more we can do to make our clients happy and better, make things more efficient, do things more for them that they need to do to run their business and their lives, the more sticky that client becomes to us, the more trusted advisor we become. But sometimes we can't offer these advisory services, because exactly like you've said, Sam, because we're not qualified in it ourselves. But these services complement what we do as our usual day-to-day jobs, the VAT returns, the bookkeeping, the payroll, like you said. So exactly that, the payroll and HR should come hand in hand, but we're missing out because we feel we can't offer it because we're not qualified to do that or whatever. But it's like, I've had a demo with your lovely Ash in your company, and I was literally blown away, blew my socks off from the demo that you did. And we're going to talk about that in more detail in a minute. But let's just go back to payroll as well, because you just mentioned payroll. So we had a chat about this yesterday, and Steve, oh, by the way, I've not mentioned this, have I? Because we've advertised. So sorry, Steve Reynard. I should have said this at the beginning. Flipping heck. Proper Sheffield accent there. Steve Reynard was advertised to come on this show, but unfortunately he's got something else that he's got to do today that he absolutely needs to do with his son. So Sam's here today. So if you're thinking, that don't look like Steve, he's not got ginger hair. It's not, it's Sam.
If you can't send Batman, send Robin. So this
I forgot about that. Sorry, Steve. We should have mentioned that in the first place. But payroll, we were chatting about this yesterday, weren't we, on a call? And I know for a fact that most accountants hate doing payroll. I'm not going to lie, they don't like it. They'd rather do something else. But we have to offer that as a service. And if you don't offer it, you are definitely missing out, because you don't want is for your clients to come to you for everything else, all the compliance stuff, advisory stuff, and then they're going somewhere else for payroll. Ben says Steve's got better looking overnight. Oh, that's good, isn't it?
I'll take it. I'll take it today.
Yeah, look, I'll even put it online so I prove I'm not lying about that. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Ben. So, but we also know, though, as well, on the flip side of that accountants will do payroll, and I hate this word, for free. You see that, don't you? You will see that.
It's a difficult one, and I think you're absolutely right in that what we tend to see is you'll offer your services out, and payroll almost comes as part of that package, and you kind of go, oh well, I'll chuck in payroll as well, and we'll do payroll on top of this. And in my personal opinion, I find payroll to be one of the most important and most emotive out of all of those services, because ultimately, if you get that wrong, you will likely lose a client, because it comes down to ultimately an employee not being paid and then not getting their money. Yeah. And it's so important that we place value on this from that very first conversation. But also as well, from a software perspective, what we're talking about is being able to pass those costs on to clients as part of that service and charging for that. And I think there's a real revenue stream being missed out by a lot of accountancy practices and firms where they are not including that within their budget, because they're worried about the value that's being placed on it or how much they're going to end up offering to charge. Absolutely.
Payroll is just massive to be able to offer that to your clients, and also to be able to charge for it. Like you said, like and I teach all my clients this as well now, if they don't do it, to be able to, outsource that charge back, like make the clients pay for that, make them pay for it. Sounds a bit harsh, and I don't mean it to. Do you know what I mean? Like, just add it into your prices in the software. I always used to do it. So I used to use Dext, I used to use QuickBooks, everything that I use for them that increased my efficiency and their efficiency, I would always pass that cost on to the client. And this goes for payroll. And you said it exactly right. Most accountants just chuck it in with the rest of the services. And like, you really absolutely shouldn't. You need to start thinking and about, your mindset needs to change on how important payroll is for business owners and their staff. As you just said, it's crucial. If you don't pay a member of staff correctly, or you don't even pay them at all, well, you know what they're going to do. They're going to walk, aren't they? And then the business stops, the operations finish, and it's not good. So yeah, you need to change that mindset to be able to think that payroll is just as important as all the other stuff that you do, the VAT returns, the self-assessment, the year end, and don't just chuck it in with the price, as we keep saying. It's honestly, it does make me feel a bit sad when accountants feel that payroll is like an inferior service compared to all the others. And do you see this a lot then when you speak to accountants?
Yeah, I'm yet to meet an accountant who enjoys doing payroll, and I think if I find one, I'm hoping to find one eventually, and they can tell me why. But I think it's not the most enjoyable one to do. But I think also, you mentioned it earlier on, automation. There's a way that you can still charge for that payroll service, but also find the software that can automate as much of that as possible. I know what we do, your director owners, your statics, we make sure that's automated, the payroll, the payslip publishing automated, the pension side of it automated. And if you can find a way to do that and automate the majority of that workload, where you can still pass on that cost and ensure you're doing as minimal work towards that as possible, that's where you're going to save your time and ultimately spend time on things that you want to be doing versus the things you don't want to be doing.
I think a lot of the time, and this is speaking from experience as well of running in my own practice for a long time, I think the reason why we don't sometimes like payroll is because we've not got the right software to be able to help us to do it. And still, people are still using desktop software as well. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but obviously if you are promoting yourself that you are an up-to-date, real-time cloud accountant and they still do using desktop software, then it might be the fact that you have got the wrong software that's you're using to do your payroll, and it's a bit sticky. I think it's hit and miss, and it's very long-winded. Whereas if you've got a software that literally it's step by step and it's so easy to prepare and process, and it's a breeze, then that's when your mindset will change. It's like, actually, I quite like doing this now. So tell us, this leads on nicely then obviously to Employment Hero and what sort of services you offer. Tell us a little bit about the payroll, tell us a little bit about the HR, and I need you to tell everybody about PensionSync, because that's brilliant.
Yeah, so there's probably a few bits to mention. I think if we start probably on the payroll side first, I know I've kind of touched on this already, but for me, the payroll is the foundation of everything that Employment Hero is built on. So, that automation piece is so key for us. So anything that is static within a pay run, we want to and can automate. So we want to automate the running, we want to automate the submission to HMRC, we want to automate the payslip publishing, and then that pension element being automated as well. And what we just find with that is that it's the time-saving element that then really appeals to people. Even if you've got 50 or 100, clients that you run payroll for, you'll tend to find, sometimes 40, 50% of those can be static, director only, anything that's kind of monthly, if you can automate all of that and you know that that's just going to run and run and run, that's, how much time would you spend, doing those payrolls normally? You can save yourself hours and hours of time. And again, that can then go into something that you enjoy doing. That can go into having a day off. That can go into actually growing your practice should you want to. So it can go into areas that you actually want to focus on. And I think that is the real value piece for me. Yes, it's great that you're doing less on the payroll side, but actually it's more about what you can be doing with that time saved. And that for me is the real value that's added.
So, but just before you move on to the next bit though, when you say automate, it's automated. Well, what do you mean by that?
So effectively what we mean by automated is that when you first come onto the system, we set up with you any payrolls that can be set up for the system to run itself. So we will enter any of the details in that are necessary. So, if we've got all of the details in that we need from each employee and each client, we can effectively then set that up through the system to run on your behalf on a month-on-month basis. Now, I think what accountants tend to find is that first click of the button can be scary, and that first month can be, oh, I'm letting something automate and run for myself, and I want to check it, I want to jump in. But it just makes such a huge difference when you know that that's just going to run and run and run. And we
so if I've got a director-only payroll then, and it's the same all the time, it's the same each month. So once I've set it up that first time, for this month, say we're in December, I do the December payroll. So in January, I don't have to touch it. I just know that it's already done. And the RTI submission's gone to HMRC and the pension has gone to Nest or whoever it is. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. And
wow.
Effectively with that as well, we can also set up notifications for you within there. So if there are certain elements, if there's a tax code change or something that you need to be made aware of, you can set up those notifications still to ping over to you so you can keep an eye on it. But effectively, that is going to run and run and run. And then, even thinking now through to the kind of the end of the financial year coming up, once you come up to the end of the year, you click a box to say this is the final submission for that year, and then it just resets and starts again for that first month and first week of that new financial year.
Amazing. And the employees get a login so that they can see the pay slips and stuff like that and P60s?
Absolutely. So you've got two elements to that. So you've got the browser that they can access, or we've actually got our swag app that we've renovated and launched again recently, which effectively can have your pay slips on there, your leave on there, anything that you need on there can be placed in there as well. So, it appeals in a variety of ways to kind of people who maybe, you can still just automate the emails and to go out with their pay slips. But for those people who maybe aren't as tech savvy as we would like with certain clients, we know they're still out there. But equally for those kind of younger up and coming firms that want apps and they want browser access and they want cloud based, you've got that element as well.
So it's flexible to the accountant and to their business owner clients to what they want. Then they've got that flexibility and that option to have. But just swag app, did you say?
Yeah, yes, our app is called Swag. It's not purple, sadly. So I'll get you on the line, but no, it's a really, really fantastic app. We use it ourselves at Employment Hero. We use our own software, and it's so cool from an engagement perspective as well for employees, because it's not only about just getting your pay slips, it's about you want an app that they can engage with every day and feel that they're engaging with that company and what's going on.
So before we move on to the next bit then, like any accountants, bookkeepers right now, think about the payroll software that you're currently using. If you are using a software, does it do that? Can you set it up? And then you don't have to worry about it for the ones that you don't change each month. Like literally, how much time will that save you? If your software doesn't do that right now, you're literally missing out on so much time that you can start to work on your business rather than being in it. Amazing. Right. Okay. Next bit then, HR. This is the drum roll bit, isn't it? That most accountants can literally, I've just done a 5-day free challenge about increasing the sales in your business. This can be part of it by offering this extra advisory service. Like Steve always says, what does Steve say? It's like be the Swiss Army knife of all the services. I like to call it one-stop account shop, so that you always know, so that if any of your clients need anything, even that's nothing to do with accounts, but it's complementary services, that's advisory. And if you don't know somebody that can, or a software, or like I said, or a company, or a person, or a product, or a service, that you can go straight and say, I know how to do that. I know how to fix that for you. I know how to help you with that. They'll just go somewhere else and spend the money. Wouldn't you rather them spend it with you? So this is where the HR comes in. And obviously it synchronizes with the payroll as well. But Sam, please tell us all about that.
Yeah, the HR piece is super cool. And I think really for us, what it's about is, again, it comes down to that engagement of employees. And we want, from an accountant perspective, but from an employer perspective, and then from an employee perspective, that kind of trifecta, we want all of them to be engaging with a product that can support them in their growth. So effectively, when it comes to the HR, we look at it from a few entities really, but the start of it is really the initial recruitment of staff. So we want you to be able to use a HR platform where, either as an accountant, if you want to use the software yourself, or for your clients, where they can use it to recruit. And we know within this industry and wider industries, recruitment at the minute of staff is just so difficult. So
absolutely. Yeah. When you did me the demo a couple of weeks ago, well, Ash, lovely Ash and your team, literally, like I've just said, it blew my socks off the recruitment side of it. It's absolutely amazing how you've got the AI in it there as well, haven't you, to help you write the job description. And then it also then sort of looks on LinkedIn and all the job boards as well for people. It like matches it, doesn't it? It like scrapes it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So it's
I can't believe it does this.
You can basically create your own job board with on there, but that's also then going to link up to, your Monsters, your LinkedIns, all of those, and then effectively scrape those job boards. And not only can it use AI to create job applications for you and vacancies, but you can also then use that to find staff. And effectively, rather than waiting for staff to come to you, you can go out and look for people who are looking for work, who have the qualifications that you're looking for. So that's part one, is actually finding the staff in the first place. The step two side of that is then, of course, onboarding the staff.
Yeah.
And this is where the payroll element comes into play as well. So effectively, what then is going to happen is, if they've been recruited through the app, that's going to pull all of their information in. I know you've seen this, Bev, so I'm probably preaching to the converted here. But effectively, what that's then going to do is set up their profile. They're then going to be sent a little notification to say, we need you to put in your bank details. We need you to put in, your P46, all those elements. And effectively, that is then going to populate into the pay run, ready for them to be paid for their first month that they've been there, or first week, however they're going to be paid through that. So not only are you able to add them on, you've got the contract management on there, where they can then e-sign their contract, they can read through, they can access their policies through the app. Everything can be done through there, from the very start to recruitment all the way through to that onboarding, and even then going into that pay run.
It's all together. I love it how it's all together. And like, obviously, we're talking about the SSS here as well. We don't want millions of different apps that do different things. If we've got one that does a lot of stuff all together, that is brilliant. And that's exactly what this does. But also in the side, and that side of it as well, what's the other bits that's in there that I was like, wow, look at that. I can remember. So there's like the like a team high five thing. What do you call it?
Oh yeah, so kind of like the shout outs.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so some really cool features. So with your shout outs, it's almost like a social media page that you have on the front screen of your profile for your company. So if somebody does a fantastic job, you can shout them out on there. It's kind of, a bit Facebooky, where you can then send emojis and kind of celebrate. And, you can then hook that up to things like Slack if you wanted to, so you can see it within those channels on a daily basis. But again, it's not only then when they're onboarded through onto the platform through the app, it's then, as I've said, it's about that engagement. And we want employees and employers going on and using it every day, so that they feel like they are getting value from it.
Yeah, and that's going to bring, that's going to boost team morale as well, isn't it? Doing stuff like that as well. I know that I would, if I was employed and I was in a team and somebody gave me a shout out for doing something good, I'd absolutely love that, to be honest. And I think that would be brilliant for morale. Yeah,
there's a lot to be said for receiving that praise, but also being able to give out that praise publicly as well is such an important part of that day, saying, especially with kind of younger workforces now, what they're looking for is more from their employers in terms of, well, what do I get from this? And, those even just those little shout outs or that little like public praise, is so valuable for them.
There's the training courses on there as well. Again, you don't have to have a separate portal for something for training courses. That's all linked in there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely correct. So we actually have access to training modules that can be done through the platform, but you can also upload your own content as well. So if you do have, some people already have fantastic onboarding, or they have certain resources that they utilize, not only can you utilize ours, but you can also just bring yours into the platform to ensure that it's really tailored to your journey that you'd like your employees to go on as well.
So I'm just thinking, like, for accounts and bookkeepers internally, if they use this, like, that's good for the annual AML and data protection, to increase the knowledge and make sure that they're certified in that and that they're regulated by that each year. But then there must be thousands of different courses then for if accountants then use Employment Hero software for their clients as well. I niched in trades and construction, and they had to adhere to certain regulations every year as well. So that would be brilliant that they were in there. Does it give you a reminder as well?
Yeah, it does. And with that as well, what's really cool is the external factor as well. So you can be doing things on there, but also if you are doing something external, and we know so many accountants are going through, they do so much training and so many qualifications and courses, you can still log that on the platform, even if you're not doing it on the platform. So you can have a really clear journey of the training, of the courses, of everything that you're doing on there.
So you've literally got everything to do with HR employment of the individual employees all together in one place.
Exactly. And not only that, with the AI that you mentioned earlier on as well, from things like your policies, your procedures, your contract management, if an employee has a question, we have our Hero AI on there where you can then type in questions and it will answer based on the policies that you have uploaded for your business. So again, it's saving you those questions and allowing them to get that themselves and self-serve, which is such an important part of that enjoyment as well.
I loved it when I saw the demo. It's absolutely brilliant. Honestly, it really, really is. I'm not just saying it. But I know right now that you accountants and bookkeepers, listen, I'm looking at you now. I bet you anything, you've got your employment contracts in a Google Drive or a Dropbox or something, completely separate to everything, your payroll and everything else. Well, stop it. Put it all together in one place.
We also, we've spoken to people recently where they don't have contracts still, or if they do, it's or it's something where it's it's saved on a Word document and it's never been signed or it was sent out. And again, it's just about coming down to that best practice, isn't it, more than anything, and just ensure that from that, if you're looking to grow your practice, especially, you need to have a foundation of good measures in place from the word go if you're looking to grow that.
Absolutely. And we chatted about, I chat about this quite a lot as well, that if you as an accountant bookkeeper have got all your systems, like you've got absolutely brilliant systems, and you're showing this to your clients, as in like your CRM or a payroll HR software, like where you're asking for stuff when you're onboarding. And I had this in my practice, this is no word of a lie, that when you're sending them stuff like this and it looks so official and proper and efficient, organized, they think, wow, if they're that organized within their own internal practice, I'm really happy that I've chose them to be my accounting provider, because look what they're going to now do to me. If they do that for themselves, I know that they're going to look after me and they're going to choose the right softwares for me to work with within my business. Yeah, amazing. Tell us about PensionSync. This is so good.
I feel like it's what you've actually wanted to speak about, and you've saved.
I know, I've saved the best till well, it's all good to be honest, but
Yeah, I mean, the PensionSync element, I think it probably comes back to that automation on the payroll side, but of course then links to that HR piece. But effectively, what we're looking to do is really simplify those workplace pension scheme duties with that feature. And we believe this is the gold standard out there for that. Yeah. So we don't want manual assessment anymore. We don't want manual calculations. We want it to automate and do that for you on your behalf. So effectively what our PensionSync feature does is we will look at then automatic enrollment, pension contributions, even your reporting and opting in and opting out, all from one place, one source of truth, and again, updated in real time. So rather than having to click into that, do it on your desktop version, click into your Nest or click into your, your Now People, whatever it is, it's all done, one click of a button, again, set up from the word go, and then enabling you to manage that. Effectively, the system will manage it for you, but effectively you being able to manage that in real time whenever you need to.
And this is correct, isn't it? When I spoke to Amy, I think before, when she said, if you've got certain employees in your business that want to have a different pension provider that goes through the payroll, they will all sync together, won't they, as well? So you can have different pension providers within the one payroll.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what we want to do with that is, and at the moment, what we hook up to is kind of the main one. So your Nesh, your Now, your People's Pension, your Legal and General. We're looking at building a few more in there. So, but any of your major ones, I would say they cover, from our experience, 90 to 95% of pensions generally. But you can set up your own manual ones. But of course, with the PensionSync element, any of those major ones, you're then able to pull those through in those pay runs.
Absolutely brilliant. It is a super software. And you've had a lot of investment, haven't you, to make this software the best it can be as well?
Yeah, really excited. So I think around a month ago now, we just announced our Series F funding. I think it was around the £140 million mark. But what's super exciting about that is that a lot of that is going to be for UK investment in particular. So we really want to look at the UK from getting the HR payroll, that all in one platform, ensuring that it's as tailored as possible to the UK market and really offer out what our services to the UK over the next, 6 to 12 months and see where we go. Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. This has been amazing. We've time's up, Sam. I can't believe it. I told you I want to chat all day about this, but we'll definitely do more.
I thought it'd be a little bit longer. I know you like to chat for England, so that would be at least 45 minutes.
What we need to do another one or more, and we need to do demos of what we spoke about today, so we can actually show people what we'll be telling them about today. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching. If you, like I said, if you're an accountant or bookkeeper, or even a business owner, if you're watching right now, if you don't offer payroll, you need to. If you do payroll, is your software sufficient? Can it do the automation that we've mentioned today? Do you offer HR? Do you want to be more sticky to your clients, as in they don't ever want to leave you because they know that you can do anything and everything for them to do with accounting and not anything, everything. I shouldn't really say that, should I? But all the other services that complement accountancy, such as HR, debt collection, insolvency practitioners, IFAs, all stuff like that. You need to surround yourself with these people so that whenever your clients come to you and say, do you know somebody that can do this? You can say yes. And in particular with HR, and it's linked to your payroll as well. Absolutely brilliant. Go back and look at your P&L today. If you get time this week, definitely go back to your profit and loss account. Have a look at that line that says subscriptions and see, are you wasting money on any SSS? Do you have the shiny software syndrome? Are you wasting some money on software that you'd never use or that you're just using a tiny bit of, but some of your other software can already use it? So have a look at that and save yourself some money there. But absolutely, if you don't offer HR, you really need to look at Employment Hero. And what do they need to do if they want to contact you, Sam?
Oh, well, I think I put my LinkedIn up to this. So reach out to me on LinkedIn. We can have a really nice conversation. I can tell you about what's up in 2024 and really talk you through our vision and what we want to achieve together. Now,
everybody that knows me knows when I get excited to start moving around a little bit and being a bit active. And that's what I've been doing, haven't I, on this session. And I'm not just saying this honestly. If you need a demo on this, literally have a demo. Look on YouTube. That it's such a good software for you to be that one-stop account shop, as I say, or the Swiss Army knife, as Steve Reynard says. Ben says, Mike says, love to see it, Sam. Brilliant. That's fine. And also, Ben says, awesome both. Thank you very much, Ben. And thank you so much, Sam, and everybody for watching. I'm sad that we've got to go, but we will definitely do another one of these. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a great day. And we'll see you all again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.